Now we're in the last bit, which is connecting your custom domain with the hosted site. So this means that when someone types in, let's say, paint or portfolio, they'll find your website instead of using Vercel's link. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to go with Cloudflare. Cloudflare, I think, is the best. I did a little bit of research. I used to use Namecheap, but they've recently increased their prices for when you renew your domain name. So you have to pay for a yearly, it's almost like paying rent to a registrar for a domain name. So with Namecheap, they up their rentals, and Cloudflare keeps their rentals usually pretty stable. That's because they make money in other places. So they make money selling different services attached to the domain. So extra protections, extra security. It's a very good place to keep your domain, in my opinion, for today as of 2026. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, I'm just going to go to Vercel, and I'll move this over here so you can see. And let's see, I'll make myself a little bit smaller. There we go, that should do. Okay, so let's see, I've been working on other stuff. Let's see, Painter Portfolio here. So this is where the current domain, so this is a domain. This is where it currently lives. It's a domain given by Vercel. It's free, which is kind of nice. So you can keep it here, not a problem. Or if we wanted to add a different domain, one of your choosing, you click on the project and you see there's domains here. We're also going to find domains right here. And let's see, I'm going to come up with a domain. So first we need to buy the domain. And now I'm going to type in Cloudflare. And the logo looks like this. So you're going to need to sign up if you don't already have an account. You can do this easily through GitHub. So I created an account through GitHub, and I just recently moved a few domains over from Namecheap. And then you can see this side here. Click on domains. I'm just going to do overview. And these are the domains I moved over recently. And I'm going to do buy domain. So let's see, it's called Portfolio Painter. A lot of my company work is done through something called CNAME. That's my business name, CNAME. And I'm just going to do Portfolio Painter CNAME because I'm assuming that's not a commonly used name. And then we're going to search. So I'm going to look for the cheapest one because it's just an example. Let's see, we have Portfolio Painter KMA.UK for $5. Wow, Got Consulting is $42. So as you can see, you can kind of shop around. Different names will have different prices. So the idea is that you are paying for different prime realty, prime housing, rentals in the internet, in the cyber world. And registrars are the landowners. There are a few registrars that sort of own the spaces, the names, that you then go register with, get the lease, own the domain for however long you renew it. And then let's say I was to not pay for a year or not pay for the year, they would then release the domain to be bought again. It's a bit of a process. There is like almost like an auction sale for it. It's interesting. It's a little bit of the Wild West. There used to be where people would buy a ton of different domain names and then they'll hold on to it and sell it to you for a premium. So they would sell it to you for $2,000. So there's a bit of that. Usually if you have a unique enough name, it's pretty okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this 1 year for $4, which is pretty good. There is all my information, and then I'm going to cut this part out, obviously, so you don't see my address, because, you know, cyber safety. Now we wait. Okay, so here's where Cloudflare makes our money. Detect and block bots, explore templates. They sort of offer quite a bit more on top of this. Auto renew, so I'm gonna just go ahead and cancel auto renew. That means I'll pay again automatically next year. All right, so now we have this domain and we own it. It's now under our lease. Oh, and I'm gonna add existing. You can, let's see, yes, redirect, that's yes. Connect to an environment production, yes. We can get into the nitty-gritty details of that sometime in the future. For right now, you don't need to know anything about it. So here are the domain DNS records. This is where a lot of people get tripped up. It gets really confusing. It's kind of like you're registering your new address for your driver's license or your bills or things like that. You need to tell the internet where your address is going to live or where your content is going to live, and you're saying it's going to live at this address. So we're taking the content of the hosting and putting it onto this address. So we have an A record here, and we have something called a CNAME record. The A record is sort of the main record. So we're going to go to domain registrations. We're going to click that. And here you can see portfolio painter KMA.trade, and we're going to go to manage. So here we have this information. I just want to show you this real quick. So these are sort of add-ons. We can use this for an add-on. Who is privacy? It disables people from being able to find out your address based on the domain name. So it's almost like, again, like having an address, a real address. There's people who can go to public places and look up details about your address and find out information about you personally. So you can hide that by who is privacy. A lot of domain registrars have this by default these days. So we're going to go to update DNS configuration. And here we go. So you can keep the name servers the same. You can ignore that. And we're going to go to add record. A is the main sort of record that you have for websites. And we're just going to copy and paste from Vercel. So as you can see here, we have the DNS records. We're going to copy this. So I clicked this button. This means to copy. And we're going to put that in there. And we're going to click save. Make sure you click save. I made that mistake before, so I had to re-record this. All right, and then we're going to do CNAME as the next one. This is a redirect, so people can put in the domain name or www.domainname.com, and it'll send them to the same exact place. CNAME, www, and then, probably because I went maybe a little bit too fast, I'm going to copy this here, this value, by clicking this, and pasting it there, and then clicking save. And there we go. So we have that in there. We're going to click refresh. It does take a little bit of time for it to register. So it could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 24 hours to register. These days, I feel like it takes usually about 5 minutes. It's unusual. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. I've had it take a few longer than that, but not often. I feel like back in the day, it used to take anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, which is quite long. So these days, it's much quicker. There we go. Proxy detected. So Cloudflare does do auto proxy. Okay. So if you see this error, using a proxy in front of Vercel prevents our automated DDoS and bot mitigation tools from working correctly. It's easy to fix. What you do is you go here. We're going to edit and turn off proxy status. It says DNS only. This is because Vercel does handle a lot of this automatically. So if you have two competing forces trying to block malicious things, they don't communicate well, they can sort of get tangled up into each other. Make sure you click save, as always. And make sure you do it to both records. There we go. All right. So let's see. This just checked and it's no longer proxied. So this will take a second. And I'm going to refresh to make sure the proxies, turning off the proxies took hold. And we're going to refresh. All right, so we need to authorize. Okay, so we refreshed and we got this, and now we're good. So we're going to go back to Paint Your Portfolio. So click up here to go to main project, and look at that, Portfolio Painter KMA.trade. The Vercel link still works, so you can still use it. So if you're using it for testing or to show people, it still will work. And there we go. And that's how you get the domain attached to your site. So we've gone from creating custom code on AI with ChatGPT or Claude to using Cursor, to then putting it on GitHub, to then having it hosted on Vercel, and then attaching a custom domain through Cloudflare. This is basically web development in a nutshell. It's a very simplified version, and there's a lot more that can be added on, a lot more complexity to make it really fascinating and to add a lot more human element and touch to websites. But this will give you sort of a strong foundation to work from. And if you're interested in learning about anything else, shoot me a message. I would love to record more content. I'm just curious what people want to learn about. So I hope you enjoyed the course. I hope some of the guides are useful, and reach out to me anytime. And thank you so much for sitting through this.